Hi guys, and welcome to today's video where I'm finally going to be putting succulents in my Leopard Gecko tanks. Now there's a twist because these succulents aren't actually real. So if we have a close-up look at each one, there's 3 different types I have, and they've all come from Tiger Lily Bloom on Etsy, and I'll leave her link below. And yeah, they are really cool. Now, to be fair, I inquired about these. She doesn't advertise them for reptiles or anything like that, but I assume these will be okay. It's a great one, isn't it? I assume. But I think they will be because they are very similar to what you get when you get fake plants for reptiles anyway. And with leopard geckos, they don't really interact with the plants as much as, say, a crested gecko would. So this is more for decoration. And we know some people will literally just get artificial plants and just pop them in a tank. So it's pretty similar to this. So I actually think I have more than I need for Diego's tank, so I'm very thankful of that. So I may also jazz up Minnie and Ziggy's tanks as well, because they aren't, you know, they're lacking a bit of greenery. And the main reason is, and there are 2 big things I failed to do, and it's really stupid looking back, is there wasn't a drainage layer and there was no growth light, and you don't get photons from a UVB light. I kind of thought maybe I'd get away with it, maybe it would work, but of course it's the equivalent of keeping a plant in the dark. So of course they did not survive. Some of them survived longer than I expected, and some of them I've kind of resurrected, I guess. I've taken them out of the tank because my geckos kept digging them up. And that's the other thing, my leopard geckos will dig, and they will just dig up the roots, and they, you know, they'll die. So with these, I kind of want to keep them up. I want to keep them up on like the rocks and everything, and away from potentially being dug up. And yeah, I think these will look pretty cool. So we're going to start off in Zig's tank, and as you can see, she has this succulent that is very dead. And the thing with this plant pot is Zig will go to the, wow, well that dirt just went. Zig will go to the top of her tank, I don't know if you can see, just above this plant pot, and poop over the side. So when I put in this fake plant, I want to put it nearer the front so it doesn't get pooped on. So now luckily it has a very handy stalk here, so we're going to stick it in. Let's see, we want it to look kind of natural. And what I've done with all of these, before I put them in, I did give them a little wash over with just some normal tap water, let them dry off. So if they had any like sort of debris from being manufactured, it would come off. So there you go, there's the first bit of green, and it's hopefully going to stay green over a long period of time. I know the background in Gizmo's tank, for example, she's had that years and years now, and that's kind of faded, so I am worried with these plants, will they fade over time? But we shall see. But right now, I'm liking it. And I've done the same over here in Minnie's tank. Now that plant in the background, when I first did it, I believe it had a plant in it, and over time the soil's kind of dropped down, so if I just stick that in there, it should be fine. With Minnie in particular, she digs a lot, so I would avoid putting anything down here. She used to have a succulent in this corner, and as you can see, she digs a lot. And actually the other day I found this very old dried egg. So in this tank, she'd obviously laid it a while ago and dug it, buried it, and accidentally dug it back up again. So now we have Diego's tank. Oh my goodness, I've just spotted where he is. One sec. Diego! What are you doing? Are you in the cold hide? We're just giving your house a little makeover, don't worry about us. Okay, so here's the most recent one. The only live plant we have in here is this air plant, which I'll take out now and again. I'll give it actual sunlight, and I will water it. Now, where do we put these? Because I definitely feel like this needs some greenery. I think this works fine in here, although I did find some crickets in there, which is annoying. I thought I'd block that off. One of my main things I wanted to add in here though is this, because I think we could drape it around and I think it could look really cool. The thing is, do I put it in and just dangle it somewhere, or do I sealant it on? Problem with doing a sealant thing is, of course, sealant's very potent. You need to give it time to cure, and so you don't want your gecko in there. So it would involve moving Diego out. So once I figure this out, I won't film it because it will probably go on for way too long. So far I found if you cut off a piece, they're actually like wire, and if you get a nice little bit, you can wedge it into the foam, because obviously some of this at the back is foam. The only problem is a lot of this is going to be covered in this hard rocky stuff, or actually covered in rocks, so it may be difficult. By the way, this here is so, because I had to get the plug to get the UV in, I had to make a bigger hole. Thing is, the crickets will get out, so I had to block this up with blue tack. I know it looks kind of awful, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Unfortunately, wires aren't the prettiest of things. So if we look at it like this, we take some clippers and we cut it right up here. There you go. And then you have this little bit that can be wedged in the back, but sometimes I do wonder if it's gonna be enough, so I may have to stick it. We'll see. Okay, so this is what I've done, and don't expect perfect, honestly, but we have some things coming down from here, one in that corner, and I decided to replace the air plant with that because I thought that'd fit in there quite well. You know, it's not perfect. I am no expert with doing tanks at all. Sometimes I just don't have the eye for it. In this particular tank, you know, it's really challenged me a bit. I'm far more comfortable with doing like a crested gecko tank, because with that you can let the plants just go wild. But this is what I've done for Diego's tank. We'll have to see how he does with interacting with the plants, whether he knocks any down, if I have to make any changes. But you know, there's a bit more greenery than we had before. And I'm going to keep some back because obviously Gizmo's tank will be the next to do. So yeah, I can pop in the plants then. But Diego has come out to inspect everything. So now I just wanted to take this part of the video to discuss tank setups, like using fake plants, real ones, what's best. Also, you may have noticed I may sound a little different. That's because my camera mic is awful, so I'm using a different one. So what is best, live or fake plants? Honestly, I kind of hope and think that in the future it'll be all about natural bioactive tanks, but of course not everyone can do that or prefer to do that for one reason or another. But all we can do is try to provide the very best for our geckos within our limits, as long as those limits kind of surpass the very basic needs. Like, don't keep your gecko in a plastic drawer with a piece of kitchen roll and one hide. That is no life for a gecko. So as long as you don't do that, as long as you can provide them with good enrichment and lots of room, plenty of hides, you know, and everything they obviously need, then that's all good. Also, remember, you don't have to go full on bioactive all at once. You can make small changes as you go. Like, I now use Earth Mix Arid, which is natural, it's completely safe, it's like designed for leopard geckos. I use a UV light. Once again, this particular one is specifically designed for leopard geckos. So sometimes you just need to try little things. You can try them and love it, you can try them and not so much. For example, I actually was putting off doing Diego's tank for a while because I wasn't really happy with Ziggy and Minnie's tank and how they kind of functioned, because obviously the plants died, and using real rock is cool, but real rock is heavy and kind of clunky, and I had to sealant some of the rocks together to form the hides, so I couldn't easily just get my geckos out, or if live food went behind those rocks, I couldn't easily retrieve it. And that's why the reason I decided, right, I'm going to do Diego's tank is if I made changes. So obviously the rocks are fake. Well, there are a few real rocks on the background if you've seen that video where I set it all up. The plants are fake. If I had unlimited money and unlimited room, I would give each of them a long glass terrarium, full on bioactive, a nice reptile room. But unfortunately, I don't have that. I think there's a misconception that all YouTubers are rolling in it, whereas in reality, I'm just a regular person working hard for not much money. So I do what I can, and pretty much all the money I do earn goes straight back onto my pets. So as I said, if you wish to do a bioactive tank or just a fake tank, it's totally up to you. There is not one way of raising a reptile. As long as you do things right, as I said, lots of hiding places, big enough tank, lots of enrichment, proper care, all of that sort of stuff, it's all good. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you again to Tiger Lily Blooms on Etsy. These succulents are so cool. They've definitely tricked everyone else in the house, and hopefully they do well in the tank. As I said, I will leave her link in below, so if you want to check that out, you can. As you can see, Diego has already been investigating them, but so far, when I'm filming this, so far, they're still all in place, so that's good. If you haven't already, please subscribe, but thank you very much for watching, guys, and goodbye.